Welcome to the brand new The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly podcast. The podcast where we take an in-depth approach at examining the best and the worst music and cinema of all time. Because this is our very first episode, we'd pretty much like to introduce ourselves. My name is Chris, and along with me is
Bryan. I'm Bryan, yeah. And with our special guest, Dylan James.
Hey guys, what's up?
Dylan. It's great to have you on, man. It's great to have you.
Thank you, sir. Love being
All right.
here.
So we'd like to take a little bit to kind of explain how the podcast is structured. 3 episodes per week ties in with the name. We'll be reviewing the best, the worst, the mediocre, all of it. The good, the bad, and the ugly, hence the title of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, for our very first one, we'd like to review a film we just saw, actually. A great film, in my opinion. Very, very, very interesting and unique.
Yeah, very.
And this movie is called The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, directed by the Coen brothers, starring Liam Neeson, James Franco, Tim Blake Nelson. You know, a pretty star-studded cast, if you ask me. And initially looking at the trailer, I was not expecting this type of movie.
It seemed like a dark comedy at first. And you say starring Liam Neeson, which I expected Liam Neeson to have a more prominent role in this movie, but he was in it for one story, but he talked very little and was on the screen for very little amount of time. But still, he was great. He was still great.
Right. Yeah. He had a very, very minimalistic role, and I think that whole story. But by the way, the movie is kind of structured around 6 short stories for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Very different. Very different. Usually, westerns or just movies, modern movies in general, usually have a very straightforward kind of storyline.
Yeah.
One single one. This one, none of them had relation to each other. Maybe in terms of themes, yes, but the stories were so incredibly unique, each and all of them.
Mm-hmm. But they weren't like very similar to each other. Very their own thing. Like the very first story it went through was I guess we call it Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah. So essentially, the first story is based around the guy whose name is in the title of the movie, Buster Scruggs, who's almost like this Looney Tunes type of character, right?
Yeah.
Just like doing impossible stuff all of the time.
It's like Deadpool in a way where he's talking to the audience, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Breaking the fourth wall, interacting with the audience. It's very interesting. You typically don't see that from westerns, and especially because the Coen brothers really make dark movies. Dark humor. You know, this one was right up their wheelhouse.
Just got to be honest. Fargo, very similar to Fargo in a way. Just dark and just a little bit comedic, but just very comedic in the spots where you really shouldn't be joking around with. But still, overall, it was pretty somewhat funny. But like you're getting a little chuckle out of it.
Right. And I really gotta say, I think the first kind of short story was definitely my favorite.
Oh yeah.
I really liked Tim Blake Nelson singing. I thought he was actually killing it, kinda. I'm gonna be honest.
Singing was great. Like, there's 3 songs, right? But each song.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah. But those 3 songs were like really good and very like standout. They weren't like generic.
Nah, they were incredibly, like they tied in perfectly with the ambiance, you know. Like the opening shot kind of, besides the intro with the book, which kind of is a segue for the beginning of all of the short stories, is this person kind of reading from this book.
Yeah.
But the opening shot where he's just sitting on the horse playing his guitar and just singing into the desert, that was actually pretty badass, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He was singing about water. I liked what they did with that scene about when he was going in the canyon, and like the echoes was kind of like the background singer for him when he was singing about water, and then just hear in the background just water repeated.
Right. You know, he wasn't necessarily talking to anyone, but it felt like he was almost like captivating an audience.
Yeah,
you know,
very good.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting.
And he's like a showman, you know.
And then when they get to the first saloon, where he tries to get whiskey, but he couldn't get whiskey because he's technically not an outlaw because he's too joyful, not like the typical outlaw.
Right.
That
Yeah.
that action scene was really nice. And also, the one detail I really liked when he was shooting the bartender reaching for the shotgun, you can see a little glimmer of light go right through him, like there's a bullet hole through him. And I thought that was a really nice shot. It was very little and you could barely see it, but it was really nice to see that.
Yeah, yeah, you can definitely tell the Coen brothers were striving for perfection in
Oh,
this
yeah.
movie. Really going for that extra mile, really. I mean, there
Yeah.
were so many like parts of this movie that were so damn impressive. Like the outfits that people were wearing, very, very like specific to that time period. The way people talk too, like everyone's mannerisms, the way they spoke, wasn't really like some generic Western.
Oh,
It was really unique in that way that characters would interact with each other.
Oh, I
Yeah,
definitely
so
agree with you.
yeah,
Continue
I
going,
agree
sir.
with that. I agree with that. And going to so if we skip ahead a little bit, just like to the last part of the scene, or the last part of the movie actually, where they're all like they're interacting with each other and they're not the same, they're not like-minded people.
Oh,
Right, on the stagecoach portion
the
of it.
stagecoach.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I was gonna say is it's they all have like their own they're developed characters in a way. Like they're all
They get the
Yeah.
short thing to get to describe them. Like they go
Mhm.
to the
yeah.
You're
the
pretty
trapper.
much picturing this person's entire personality just from snippets of dialogue, which I thought was
Yeah.
really, really cool. Like
Yeah.
you could like you knew, like especially in the parts where Liam Neeson and Dudley from Harry Potter.
Was it actually Dudley? I don't
It's
Dudley.
actually Dudley from
Oh
Harry
my!
Potter.
Well, he lost a lot
Same
of
actor.
weight.
He did. He did.
Both arms and legs. Wow, that was
And
really nice.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't speak a single line of dialogue, right?
Well, outside of the stage performance, he did.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, of course. But like those were mostly just monologues, right? Of him just speaking to this crowd that was so disinterested in what he was saying because it was so highbrow. It was so just really crazy to these kind of simple living people out in the Wild West. And
Yeah,
have these grandiose performances of speaking some of the most famous speeches and excerpts in history, like the Gettysburg Address, I'm pretty sure.
Oh
And
yeah.
you really just see this development. It's really, really impressive. And like I was saying with Liam Neeson, very, very minimalistic performance.
Mhm.
But just from kind of looking at his demeanor and the way he was talking about things, you could really tell this guy was just really down on his luck and searching for whatever way to make him money. And that's
Yeah.
why that is definitely the most screwed up short story in my opinion.
It was so dark. It didn't have to show what happened. Just like the implication of it was just messed up at the very end, where he was like throwing a rock in the water, and then he was walking up to the Dudley. I don't know his the character's name. Walking up to him, and then it fades to black, and it cuts back to the back of the stagecoach, and he's gone, and the new chicken is in there, and it's telling that he threw the boy into the river just because he was dead weight, basically,
Yeah,
to him.
just not making enough money. And you could tell like the performances gradually got smaller.
Mhm.
The crowds at least, right? You'd see at least like the first performance they did, there was like 50 people,
Yeah,
right? But these people, like, they just looked like confused, disinterested, right? And during a time where things don't spread that quickly, you know,
Yeah.
your initial kind of view in people's eyes has to be really good. It has to be really entertaining stuff, or you're just not gonna
yeah, I agree.
you're just not gonna gain ground. And evidently enough, it wasn't making enough money, so the man got replaced by a counting chicken.
It was so ridiculous, but that's like the comedic factor. Like that's funny that he got replaced by a chicken, but it's just such a dark thing that happened.
Right.
It's just horrible, but funny in a sadistic way. But I enjoyed that. I didn't enjoy the story, but I liked it to a
You
way where
enjoyed it.
the story
You
was
enjoyed it. You enjoyed it.
okay. Well,
You enjoyed it.
it was very comedic for me. I was laughing throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
Well,
no, yeah. Definitely the movie like plays with your emotions for sure.
ooh,
Makes you really, it gets you really amped up, brings you down, gives you a good laugh, and then you're really creeped out. It's
especially the Oregon Trail story. Really gotten. I like the characters, especially I like the lead male actor. I forgot his name in this story.
his name in the story is Billy Knapp, I believe, right?
Yes, Billy Knapp, and
Yeah.
I liked him, and I thought something bad was going to happen to him because usually something bad happens. I was expecting it throughout the entire thing, but at the very end, the big twist is that the Indians attacked, and then the guy told her to shoot herself if he gets killed or something happens.
Yeah,
to him.
if he dies, yeah.
Yeah. So he got hit in the head by an Indian, but he survives it because he gets the Indian right before he gets him. But she shoots herself before he can go save her, I guess, or tell her that he's still alive. And it's very dark and twisted, and it definitely plays with the emotions that you're feeling for the characters really well.
Yeah, most definitely. It gives you that really big kind of high hope feeling like, oh my god, they actually did it. They're actually surviving.
Oh yeah,
And then it just cuts to the dog barking at the girl repeatedly and then shows the bullet in her forehead. And that's just really those moments in this movie that you're like, damn. Just like that. And I think a lot of the movie just deals with just mortality, right?
Yeah.
The inevitability of it.
Mhm.
Like even in the first short story with Buster Scruggs and how the new guy comes into town, the faster gunslinger,
Yeah.
and it's just inevitable, right? Like he was saying in the movie, you can't be top dog forever.
Yes. Very
It's just not only is your replacement inevitable, but your
demise.
death is too. Yeah,
Yeah.
your eventual demise. No matter how badass, how well renowned you are, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It really doesn't. So yeah, very, very, very interesting take on the Wild West. I will say that, and I think they did an excellent job.
Yes. And they went into detail about each type of person in the Wild West. You got the gunslinger, you got the
the
the woman,
prospector.
the prospector. That was
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite. That was my favorite story.
Yeah, speaking of that one was the most wholesome one out of all of
Yeah,
them.
because he actually lived,
He actually lives. Yeah.
even though you think he's not gonna live because he gets shot in the back.
Yeah, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched.
Oh yeah, we should.
Majority of the main characters in this film die. I think apart from the prospector, and the last one. At least I think. The last one, I'm not sure if I understand yet. I'm gonna be completely honest.
I think
I enjoyed the last one in a sense of it was well, like life and death, right? Like were they actually going off to die? You know what I mean? Like was that supposed to symbolize death?
I'm not sure.
I think it might.
Really, I'm not. Like, it just like, uh,
It could
it
be a
I
meta.
think
confused
it
the hell
was,
out of
right?
me, right?
I
Because you have
think it
these.
was because if you look at like the light, you know, because like in the staircase there was just like light, and that's supposed to be like the stairway to heaven, right? Or is that what I'm picturing? I guess how I kind of got with it.
Yeah. No, I pictured the same thing, but like, what was interesting was it for. I don't know.
And then,
I think it had to have been purely a metaphor for something. I don't think
of
they were
course,
quite
yeah.
literally going to heaven or anything like to the afterlife, for example.
yeah,
But it's very like just the dialogue was so just weird.
yeah. Well, for the longest time, I was like, well, they're not really saying anything, you know. And then it, like, if you didn't really, I kind of like blurred the dialogue out in my head and like just paid attention to like the actual picture of it. And if you noticed, it went from like orange colors to like blue colors. And I don't know if that was supposed to symbolize that it was turning night, but also just it got darker. Like the story got
Yeah.
darker.
hmm Yeah, the things they were talking about were like much darker, right? Because you
Yeah.
start off with this trapper who's basically just talking about a bunch of nonsense, and you can tell
Yeah.
the expressions on the people's faces. They're disinterested. He talks for like literally 5 minutes straight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
So he's disinterested. They're disinterested. Like we're disinterested.
right? And then it becomes this conversation about how you can analyze people and their worth, right? And then
Yeah.
the Frenchman starts talking about different types of love, how it kind of really means nothing, or you can't truly actually know everything about a person, so you don't know their intentions or what they're actually feeling. And then it starts to get even darker, where the woman, I presume, had like a heart attack or something. Like,
Or she's, I mean, it's something with dealing with like anxiety or stress because
it might
the
have been a panic attack, right?
Frenchman was like telling her that her husband was cheating on her, saying no one really liked her in her family, just like she was a burden in her family, basically.
Right. Yeah. It's just, and then you kind of cut to the part where I forgot the guy's name, the one of the bounty hunters, or as they have to call it, like, what, reapers of souls.
Yeah, he was just singing for like a minute or two, and like everyone was in a trance, like you said before.
Yeah,
But that's
which
also the
I
metaphor
picked up
part.
on. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of just curious about like what the metaphor is. Like, is it still tied in with the other themes of the movie, right? This inevitability that you're gonna die, this mortality, or is it like just like trying to lead you on this like path of deception, right? Like almost like this whole thing is not really a metaphor, but it's like a metaphor tied into a metaphor. Really confusing. Like, when the trapper was talking for those 5 minutes, it may have seemed like he was really talking about nothing, essentially. I mean,
Yeah.
but he was like so well spoken, and it was kind of that deception. Like, you're not expecting this guy to know all this vocabulary and to be so well spoken, have pause breaks, you know, using just like the proper speech, and it's just, yeah, it's very interesting take.
yeah. I don't got really nothing much because the last story is the shortest story out of all of them,
Yeah,
and there's just nothing much goes on. I would like to talk about the second story, which we haven't really gotten into, the with James Franco,
with James Franco, who's,
and
of course, everyone knows the meme at the
oh
hanging
yeah, so it's like the
first
first time.
time. Yep.
Oh god, that was it's so such a it's so funny, but
Yeah, again,
right
that's
after
that dark humor. It never ceases to, just kind of make you giggle. I may not be rolling in laughter, but in definitely such a dark scene where these people are getting hanged, and this guy is going to the hanging spot twice.
yeah.
Saying first time at this guy who's having this mental breakdown, he's gonna die, and he looks at him and says like,
It's like, what? Yeah, but that whole thing was like very odd. Like with the crazy banker, just like he has his whole thing prepped if someone was gonna rob the bank with these three shotguns underneath him, ready to blow someone's legs off. Because he like lives in the middle of nowhere, and if anyone comes to rob him, he's screwed basically. And then after he uses the shotguns, he has pans that he puts all over his
the
body.
pans. Yep.
And then he just starts running at James Franco. It was just the funniest thing. He kept every time his character would just shoot at the pan. He just kept saying was it bad shot or pan shot?
Pan shot. Pan shot.
Pan shot.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny, and then he just whacks him with the shotgun.
Yeah, and then he goes to the first hanging spot, and then Native Americans basically just murder all of the people that he's getting hung by. But then eventually calls out to a guy he sees.
Yeah.
And then one
So,
thing leads to another, and bang, he's back at the gallows. He's back at it again. And this time he does die.
Yeah. Right as he sees a pretty lady and says like, "That's a pretty lady," and then drops immediately.
Yeah.
I thought that was just like, it's just so weird.
I'm glad they kind of shot that in a first person perspective right at the end, because that's kind of what it would be like if you were to get hung, just nothingness and then snap. So
Yeah.
I did appreciate a lot of the cinematography in this movie. It was very impressive. Especially with the first story, that whole kind of just you had to match up the crazy vibe with some crazy camera angles and such, like where he's holding up the mirror or like
Yeah, I forget the shot.
just
Yeah.
very like peculiar, interesting, kind of captivating shots that I really appreciated.
Yeah, it's at the end of the first story with a shot where Buster Scruggs is going to heaven. Also, the new cowboy, the new gunslinger is going like basically the same direction, but one's going to heaven and one's continuing on. That was like an interesting shot.
Yeah, and I gotta say that duet was absolutely immaculate.
Oh god.
I've at least listened to it like over again a few times now because it was so just like kind of sweet, honestly,
Yes.
right?
It was really,
It was like
yeah.
this because I'm pretty sure like those gunfights, the duels never really happened in the Wild West. At least they were extremely rare, right? But there's
Mhm.
like this whole lore behind like these gunslingers, right? Like kicking the dust over their body is a sign of respect. Um,
Oh yeah, I didn't know. I didn't think about that.
yeah. Right as he walks up to his body, it kicks dust over him, and that's when he turns into like the angel, gets his wings, and then starts flying away. And what a beautiful song
Oh yeah.
too. Very, very. I forget who the other actor is, but I'm pretty sure he's like a singer and songwriter.
I don't know much about singer songwriters that well. I just know music, but I don't know who sings them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was like his first acting bit or not, but he did pretty well.
Yeah.
Very, very good singer.
Mhm.
Anyways, so yeah, I mean, all in all, like what a great movie.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate it. I think it kind of it's obviously a little older now, 3 years. We're definitely behind on the curb on the bandwagon at this point.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's so like good of a movie that you definitely like would want to go back and watch it regardless of its age. It's kind of one of those just so interesting and so unique
Yeah.
that it's worth just to watch again because it breaks the monotony of a lot of movies
Tradition-
coming out now, the reboots, the sequels.
the traditional movie where the good guy always wins and nothing really just like it doesn't like feel like so normalized. Like if you watch like a Marvel movie where good guys are gonna win, you already know. Doesn't
Yeah, you know what's gonna happen.
you don't feel you don't feel anything for the main character like emotionally. But this one, you just like just like you're going through a whole bunch of emotions for each character. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know how it's gonna end. It's very good.
However, Brian, though, the thing is, it's hard to get attached to a main character because like they just move scenes.
Yes,
That's the one thing that I kind of have a problem with, and like I wish they tied it in. Like, see, as far as like story wise, they should have tied in, stories a little bit with one story and another. It's just kind of like a completely different story, and then you have to get reattached to those characters, then you have to get reattached to those characters, and
Well,
yeah,
honestly, I had no problem with that
yeah.
because
I
like
understand. Yeah,
you're given like 20-25 minutes to get attached to these characters, and I do. And I think that's, you got to play credit to the
the
Coen
writers.
brothers
Yeah.
and the writers for having such interesting characters that you do kind of get attached to them. You're really curious about them, what they're going to
Mhm.
do. And in such a short time frame. And I think that splitting it up like that, giving us new characters every 25 minutes or so and ditching the other ones, I think it's pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, also to let everyone know, this movie won Best Screenplay, which I think it very much deserves the win for that.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
100%. Was it the Oscars?
I don't remember. I just saw it won Best Screenplay.
Okay. But regardless, any awards that it got, it so definitely deserved. I mean, like, pretty star-studded cast, very impressive acting performances. I don't think there was one misstep with
oh
any of
yeah,
the
acting
actors.
performances are great.
Oh yeah.
I will say that particularly the Oregon Trail one felt like it dragged out a lot more than it needed to. And one
Mhm.
interesting thing is I'd like to reanalyze kind of the romance between Billy Knapp and the girl, I forgot her name. But I think that knowing that she is going to die right? It
Yeah.
kind of reinforced that somber feeling, like, oh my god, like they're actually really connecting. You know, they're gonna get married now, and then
Yeah.
all just go away with the snap. It's I think that the movie really plays well to the rewatch ability.
Yeah. I do
Well,
agree with that. But it's like some of these, like I would say, are very like one. I can only watch it once, or I just feel like it's just. I knowing everything's gonna happen just feels horrible. Like the Liam Neeson one, like I can only watch that one once before I feel like it's just horrible. I don't want to watch all this again. Just feeling just really somber the entire time. Like it's not a bad story. It's just like one of those things where I'm gonna watch this once and hope to God I never see this again because it was so horrible.
yeah, yeah,
But
I agree.
Yeah,
it's still
yeah,
everything was good about it. But
agreed, 100%.
there's some negatives I do have about it. Just like some visual things, like the use of CGI blood on some occasions, and I thought that was very like just odd to have.
Yeah, some of the effects were definitely kind of cheap looking. Like the CGI deer
Oh, the
that we
deer
saw.
that was just weird. Felt off.
Yeah, it looked very unnatural in such like the most wholesome kind of scene, like or story. You would have preferred to have seen at least like a real deer or real
Oh,
animal.
you saw a real animal like the owl, right?
You saw the
Uh,
owl. That is true, but who knows at this point CGI could be getting that good. You
Yeah,
never
that's right.
know.
Yeah, all the
yeah,
actors
maybe
could
the
have been.
real deer. Maybe it was a real deer, but you thought that the owl looked so good it was actually CGI.
No, it was
Oh,
100% CGI.
oh,
It looked so out of place in that scene.
so weird. Yeah, because I noticed in that same story with the miner, like he got shot in the back, and I saw the blood like pool up, and I just thought that blood just looked so weird and off-putting every time. But it was cool to see it full up his back, but it still felt just just weird use of CGI.
Yeah, is it me? Right? Because he came out of the hole after killing the guy. Right? He checks his bullet wound and he says it went clean through. For me, it looked like he shot the guy so much higher up. But that could have been just me tripping the hell out and I'm just an idiot and I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I don't know if that was a misstep or I'm just blind. But it seemed like the bullet like changed places when he went to go look at his own wound.
I think because it was at an angle, because the gunslinger was above him when he shot, so maybe it went downwards.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it could have just traveled weirdly. I guess bullets just don't always go straight through.
Yeah, yeah. But
But I mean,
yeah,
this movie's very gory too. Lots of blood, lots of the
Blood
good
everywhere.
stuff.
yeah.
Blood everywhere. Yeah, that's for sure.
What else was I gonna say? I completely forgot. Can someone else say something? Because
How dare you, Brian?
I forgot. I
This is the
literally
very first episode, and you're already forgetting shit.
Ah,
um
damn.
I
Oh my god!
looking at that, so I don't know what I'm gonna say. Oh yeah, I was gonna say
This is why
one
you
of
don't start a podcast. Just don't do it.
yeah,
Just don't do it.
I'm going back to my daily
Well,
life, just doing
perhaps
nothing.
if you don't know what it is, should we move on to?
Oh no, the thing I was gonna say is what I noticed from two actors from this movies were in different things. So at the first story with the when in the second bar and they're going against his the big guy. I
Mhm.
don't know characters' names that well. So the big Shirley Joe. That
Yeah, Surly Joe, Surly Joe.
yeah, he was going against him, and then I recognized him because he was also a voice actor in a lot of things, like Detroit Becoming Human, and also he's Mr. Krabs from
Mr.
SpongeBob.
Krabs, Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
very interesting because he's a very good actor and very famous.
God, I would have done unspeakable things to hear him go "Arr, arr," in the middle of that scene. Oh my god.
Oh
Uh,
no, dude. That's
Also,
fun.
we got another famous actor, Liam Neeson, like we said before. He's been in plenty of things, like Taken 2, Taken 3, those good ones. He's also in A Million Ways to Die in the West, the cult classic.
Oh my god. I
Yeah.
really hope we do a podcast episode on that movie because that one is actually like It's not even one of those movies where it's so bad it's good. It's just genuinely pretty awful.
It's just boring and bad.
And
Has
such a
random.
star-studded cast too. And
So many people on it for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to touch upon that movie, but
Yeah.
at least Liam Neeson has some experience in Western movies. So
I
don't know.
guess.
I doubt it played any credit to his performance in this movie, but
Played a drunk and he
if
wasn't
it,
even.
if it did, if it did, congratulations. I'm really impressed by Seth MacFarlane's actor progression ability.
That's good. That's good.
But yeah, I mean, if I had to give a rating out of 10, I'd definitely give it like an 8.
I agree with that. An 8's good.
I think the Coen brothers did an excellent job kind of presenting this brand new, very peculiar type of Western. And it's definitely something that everyone should watch at least once because it is so different.
Yes.
The trailers don't even do it justice. The trailers look like almost just one giant movie.
Yeah, ball busting movie.
Yeah, and you just have all these different characters just kind of interacting with each other when in reality, almost none of them, actually none of the main actors interact with each other at all. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I definitely want to rewatch it at some point. Kind of pick up on some things I missed, with the whole metaphors, that whole thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was gonna agree with Chris. Definitely would like to watch this again in the future, the far future.
The far future.
The far future.
When I forget most of the things in it, so I come back at least a little surprised. But I definitely check. Yeah,
I think
I was just looking at the cover art for this thing. It's like all the different,
Oh,
stories.
like different, like in the pictures, just like 6 different trails.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, 6 different stories. So that's pretty cool. And plus, hey, this thing was exclusive on Netflix. So again, Netflix coming out with another freaking banger.
Dropping bangers, dude.
Hubie Halloween.
Oh, classic.
Yes, they're 2 for 2 right there.
Yeah.
2 of my favorite.
All of the Adam Sandler movies, all of the David Spade movies. Just
Father of the Year, another classic.
They all just deserve to be grouped into one category, in my opinion. Just the Netflix awards, right?
Yeah. No, they are all grouped into one category now. All the Adam Sandler movies. It's like it's like the whatever company they work for.
Happy Madison.
It's called the Happy Madison Collection or something.
Oh my god.
Oh god, it's just.
I just for our kind of love-hate relationship with Adam Sandler, which we will be covering a lot in this podcast. I will tell you that much.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to set aside like a freaking month, a whole ass month,
a whole month,
maybe
Sandler month, right? This dude has just so many
bangers.
Either hit or miss.
Yeah. No, they're all misses in my book, but
a lot of them are misses. A lot of them are misses.
Okay, maybe
an exception or two.
The golf one,
uncut gems. You have some good performances by Adam Sandler, but damn, he has some fucking stinkers.
Oh god, yeah. Jeez. It's so weird seeing him in Uncut Gems to play. It's like play an actual character with an actual motivation. Just okay. We're getting off topic, right? Yeah, we're getting off topic. Of course,
we go. Adam Sandler brings us on a tangent like he always does. The damn bastard. Yeah, Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Definitely highly recommend watching it. I think everyone can attest to that.
Yes.
Watch it at least once.
Yes,
at least once. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the next topic we're going to go to is the music section.
Yes, of course, right, because this is a 2-part podcast, and we don't want to be stuck here shitting ourselves over the same thing. So, we covered music and movies. So, next one is going to be we keep it rolling. So, the album we all listened to for the very first time, a ska album. The first revival of ska, actually, 1978 is when this album came out. Yeah, the first of many ska revivals, all 18 of them.
Yes.
Each progressively getting more dog shit.
Okay.
Apart from maybe like Sublime, but you have some real big stinkers. Anyways, first revival of ska. This band is called The Specials. The Specials.
And the
this
album
is
is
their
called
yeah.
the album's called The Specials as well, so it's not that hard to figure
It
out.
is their self-titled album.
And,
Yeah, about
and if
45 minutes long. So
45,
not crazy too
it's
long.
pretty good, yeah.
Pretty average length for an album. And
What's your favorite
personally, I'm
song?
just not a huge fan of ska in general. But
Oh.
I really enjoyed this one. I really did.
What's your favorite song in here?
Ooh, if I had to pick one,
Yeah, just pick
absolutely one, it would
pull one out.
probably be "It's Up to You." A Message to You, Rudy, which is I'm pretty sure like the big single, if it was a
I like
single,
that
their
one
biggest
too,
song, pretty much.
Mhm.
Very, very upbeat. A lot of these songs kind of have that same rock steady beat, much like in reggae.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the songs kind of really blended with each other,
Oh,
especially
yes.
near the tail end of the album. Really had kind of a few songs sounding so similar, where it just kind of uniqueness and good stuff about the album kind of wore off on you near the end because you were kind of hearing the same vocal lines, the
Beats.
same drums, yeah, the same kind of vocal harmonies.
Oh, yeah.
But we're basically gonna go through kind of every track here, kind of say what we think about each one. So yeah, we start off with the banger on the top, "A Message to You, Rudy." It's a classic.
Yes, sir.
A lot of
Yes.
people have heard this song. Ska classic. Super catchy. Vocals are simple.
Yeah.
The chorus, the little vocal harmonies, pretty nice.
Yeah, I
Very
like
catchy. Very easy to dance to.
Yeah. I was gonna say I like the harmonica intro they had for the song.
Right. Yeah.
It felt very like seventh revival of ska. It felt like that with Streetlight Manifesto.
Yes. I guess the seventh revival of ska.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm a sixth revival of ska kind of guy.
Oh, are you? Oh, classic.
Well, I'm more of a fucking fourth revival now.
Well, your opinions don't matter then.
Yeah,
fuck
we don't
that.
talk to fourth revivalers, okay?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're the worst.
We shit on fourth revivalers because they don't mean shit.
They're stinky.
So,
Yeah.
moving on to the second song, "Do the Dog." Interesting title.
Yes,
Yeah.
very.
Sure.
I thought it was really funky.
It was very funky. It was really high octane too at the beginning of the song. Kind of just let off with those drums.
Yes.
In my personal opinion, it was like the damn closest thing I've heard to like a punk song. Like it was almost like the Clash. It kind of sounded to me, right? You have these very kind of abrasive vocals, these hard hitting drums, these repeating guitar licks.
Yeah.
And it just and like yeah, it was pretty nice though. I
I
really
like
enjoyed
the
it.
dog.
Yeah.
I'm all for that one.
And then
It's Up to You is the next song coming up.
which again, like I said previously, is probably my personal favorite.
Oh, okay. I thought it was all right. I don't know. For me, it was all right.
You think it's just all right?
Yeah, it wasn't a 7.
Well, I guess we're ending the podcast there then. All
Oh,
right, everyone.
All right. I thought most of this album was all right. I'm a big ska fan. I don't know. No one knows in the audience.
Yeah, Brian, let's get into that.
Yeah, I'm a big ska guy. I like Streetlight Manifesto. I like all that stuff. But
A little bit too much, I would say. But
yeah,
to each their own. To each their own.
Oh, that's an interesting thing you said there. That's a ska song right there.
Oh.
What exactly?
Wow.
So, how do you classify ska? Just upbeat music?
It's like a punk and reggae. Is that how you classify it as?
with more classical instruments like
Yeah.
like trombones,
Saxophone,
trumpets, lots of drums, fast paced as hell, right? But it maintains kind of like the rock steady beat. Right, which you hear in a lot of reggae, and because both genres kind of originated in Jamaica, they kind of maintain those themes. So yeah, that's pretty much what ska is for anyone that doesn't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's up to you. Like I said, my personal favorite. I thought the twangy guitar licks were awesome. Little guitar solos in the background, I thought those were sick. And speaking of ska revival, this song like very much reminded me of Sublime, like no doubt. Like you could tell the influence was there in Sublime's music. I mean,
Yeah.
just the way the vocal lines were being delivered, the way the instrumentation, its pacing, it very much reminded me of a classic Sublime song, which I'm a huge fan of. I love Sublime.
Okay. Yeah, good band.
Yeah, the song definitely a lot of it sounded more traditionally like reggae, right? That rock steady beat. Keep talking about it. But yeah, the instrumentation was great. I thought the vocals were cool. But leading into the next track, I have some different opinions about this one. This one's called Nightclub,
Really?
Niteklub. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I thought this one was pretty meh, honestly.
Really? I like this one.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, this is one I wrote down a lot. I like because it had a lot of instruments going in and out of it, and like because the bass, it's like one part of the song was like the bass is like really prominent in the. You can very much hear it, but I just really like the song because of the use of the instruments. But that was just me for that.
What's interesting is that I wrote down in my notes when I was listening to the song that it definitely sounds like more modern ska, kind of what I was originally accustomed to, and that might be why you enjoyed it so much.
Oh, that makes sense then.
It's definitely very much more ska, I guess. Kind of what I listen to when I've ever listened to Streetlight Manifesto or more modern ska. That's kind of what I tied it to. And I also like the vocal breaks in the song, how they kind of just let the vocals kind of die off and then have just beautiful few seconds of instrumentation.
Yeah.
You know, the guitars coming in, the bass playing super fast, the drums. It was pretty damn badass, I will say. But I don't know. The song, just because I'm not a huge fan of ska, I think I would have much appreciated if I was more of a fan. I'd put it pretty much in the meh category.
Okay.
Didn't
I
hate
liked
it, but I didn't absolutely love it either.
Well, I liked it, so your opinion doesn't really matter to me, buddy.
Yeah.
Moving
It
on.
never does. It never does.
Oh, that's why you don't like my song recommendations, I see.
Yeah, never. Because
Okay.
it's Streetlight Manifesto, Streetlight Manifesto, Streetlight Manifesto.
I
You
try to
get
mix
sick
in.
of it, dog. You
Yeah,
get sick of it.
I mix
You
it
get
up.
sick of it.
I do catch 22.
What did you guys think of the it doesn't make it all right?
What was that? Oh,
I think that was probably one of the most underwhelming songs on the album.
Yeah, it was very slow.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Very slow.
I was listening to the vocals of it, and it was like odd. It was like not odd what they were talking about. It was just talking about like just really weird stuff of talking about race. I don't know.
Well, I think it was just more of a positive message.
Yeah, it was a positive message, but it was like just weird.
It was interesting. It was interesting, and I'm honestly probably this album is probably much more political than I'm giving it credit for. But I really didn't pay attention much to the lyrics as much as I should have. But it was.
You saying this is
there was
political?
definitely political undertones.
Oh, like in Stupid Marriage, where they started moaning in the background.
Yeah,
Yep,
like Stupid Marriage, which I one of the songs later in the album. It might have had a message. I'm not sure. Something about marriage issues. Something about being in love with someone, but not really, and having everything just kind of taken away. But there was definitely moaning sounds.
Like
just in the middle of the track.
Yeah, it was just odd. It was like
I thought that was very interesting for a late 70s track.
Yeah. I keep forgetting this song came out in the 70s. Like it's so old. Wow, it's so old.
Right. And
yeah.
So yeah, back to Doesn't Make It All Right. What are your opinions, Dylan? How'd you feel about that song?
Falls under the meh category.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was probably my least favorite song on the whole album. Just because it didn't really like captivate me as much.
A lot of these songs fall into the meh category for me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, It's definitely an album for people who I think would be more accustomed to this type of music.
Yes.
The old heads of ska, I should say.
At
Yes.
Brian.
No, okay, no.
All the first revivalers, the
Yeah,
boomers.
I'm the seventh. I'm the seventh. Remember?
Right, of
Uh,
course.
Okay, on to the next song, which is "Concrete Jungle." Which
Yeah, I love
I
this song.
really.
Yeah, I thought the bass was absolutely going fucking ham. This
Yeah.
dude was just.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah,
This song's pretty good, man.
I will say the one thing I didn't like was the vocals, and I gotta say, like, I'm not sure who the lead singer is, but a lot of his vocal deliveries were very underwhelming. Almost sound like old British rock, right? This album is kind of a fusion of British rock and ska, but when there was harmonies and they were all singing together, that's when the tracks just sounded like they had so much more depth. They sounded a lot more heavier. Like there was just a lot more going on when you kind of leave this guy and he sounds kind of naked in his voice. And I think that kind of is the downfall of a lot of these tracks, and especially this one, because the instrumentation on this track was so just heavy and badass
Mhm.
that the vocals just kind of took it away just a little bit. I gotta say that guitar in the background, spitting straight facts. Man,
For me, I thought it was a little bit like a rock song to me. That's what I felt.
Probably why
That's what I was.
me and Chris liked it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It wasn't ska. It was more of like a rock.
yeah, like a
That
British rock kind of feel.
Yeah, but
Yeah, agreed.
it was still good. I liked it.
So one of the topics I'd like to touch on, and this is the first track I kind of noticed this, which the next track is called "Too Hot." One of the things I noticed is this album's mixed pretty poorly, even for its time. Like some of the vocals on this track and a lot on the later tracks were so discernible, like you could not tell what they were saying. You'd have vocals
Yeah.
blasted up way too high, and then you'd have like these beautiful vocal harmonies, but you could barely make them out. And it kind of just makes you upset because that was one of the more prominent and great things about the album was these vocal harmonies that sounded so great, and to have them kind of mixed out and just out of the audio, it was disappointing. It was disappointing for sure.
Yeah. It's just like the sound mixing was just like all over the place throughout this album.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Very inconsistent, I would say, but again, that doesn't play part to how like the entire album sounds, and it's the instrumentation was pretty consistent, I would say.
Yeah.
Just the vocal mixing was definitely really odd.
Oh yeah.
So I would say Too Hot, probably another meh.
Yeah. For me, I just wrote down what did I write down? A reggae vibe, and that's basically what I wrote down. I didn't really nothing too like
yes, very detailed
Yeah, it was
analysis.
just I that's all I put. I could not think of anything else. Like it's
Brian,
just,
you gotta get it with the game, dude. You can't remember names. You're not descriptive. Come on, buddy.
That's all I thought when I was listening to the song. That's all I thought. It was like it sounds like reggae, and
Yeah.
it was still
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Still a good song. I enjoyed it. And sorry, it was still meh, but it's just what it's just like came into my head. It's like it's just reggae. Doesn't like there's nothing too memorable about the song,
Yeah.
but it's
So
just like
yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, pretty meh for me, honestly. But this leads us into the next track here, which
Woo,
very interesting name, Monkey Man. Monkey Man. There was like this really long intro in the beginning, but then it gets cut off like really weird. Like the editing was just so bad that it just kind of cut off like right as he finished the last word of the sentence, and then just boom comes out the instrumentation.
Dun, 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 dun. Like that. It's just it's an odd. It's a weird song.
It's a weird song for sure, but I gotta say it was one of my favorites on the album. I was like, again, this kind of plays into that really horrible vocal mixing. The chorus, you could almost like not hear it at all if you weren't wearing headphones or putting this music up really loudly.
Yeah.
It was almost impossible to hear some of the vocal harmonies in this song, and they were great. I thought the chorus matched perfectly to the kind of the energy of the song. but man, the mixing really sucks on this one.
Yeah, it's very
I gotta
I
say.
wonder if, because we're listening to it digitally, if it sounds different because, it's converted digital. This was recorded analog. You know what I mean? Like, would it sound different if...
That's a good point. I've never really thought since
I wouldn't think so. It wouldn't be that out of whack.
it's just a recording studio.
Especially when they went, because we listened to the remastered version. I doubt on the remaster they would have left it mixed.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, if they could change anything, they wouldn't have left it like that.
Yeah. I figured it, because sometimes that's the case.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. Maybe not this time.
Yeah, no, I just think this was their first album. This was their first project. It's their self-titled album. So you gotta expect some inconsistencies for sure.
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
kind of, but hopefully we'll get to look at their later music and kind of decide whether that's improved upon. But from what I was told, this was the classic. So got to take it back to the beginning. So yeah, next song, "Dawning of a New Era." I don't know about you guys. I really don't know. But something about the opening drum beat, it sounded so familiar.
It sounded like a beach movie, like when it was like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah,
No,
the
okay,
opening drum.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes, I know you're talking.
One of my notes is that this song sounds very surf rock inspired.
Yes. I agree 100% because I literally wrote down and said it sounds like a beachy vibe or something.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's actually for a few songs, I would say. Right, you kind of have these really twangy guitars and these bombastic kind of drums that play to that Beach Boys Surfing USA type of vibe.
Mhm.
But yeah, this song was super fast paced. I thought the reverberated guitars in the background sounded really cool.
Oh yeah, I
Again,
like that.
if there's one thing that's been very, very, very consistent on this album, it's the instrumentation.
Yeah, that's what I really like about ska, just the instrument. I don't listen to the vocals all that much with later ska or just main ska or just street light. I just really like the instruments. It's the way they always like the way every instrument is used. You can tell. You can like listen to it and just like tell what each instrument is, and it doesn't sound like too off-putting or just too like, oh, this one's really loud, or just it's really good instruments. I can sum it up.
Yeah,
That's why I like ska.
for sure.
Mhm.
I think that's probably one of the reasons I don't like ska is it just seems a little bit too busy for me. But hey, I'm damn willing to have my mind changed. So maybe one day, maybe this is a very big maybe.
Hopefully. Yes.
We can cover Streetlight Manifesto album or something. I don't know.
We can cover on the bad day. How about that?
We can cover on the ugly day.
Oh, okay, that's better.
There we go. Okay.
That's much better. Okay, next
So
song
yeah,
is
next song. Yep.
Blank Expression.
Pretty meh.
Yeah.
All around. Pretty boring. Thought the keyboard was kind of nice. Just the vocals, man. Just not a fan of the lead singer on the song. I think it was a pretty boring kind of song. If I'm being honest, it just really slow,
Yeah, I do. Yeah, very slow.
underwhelming. Yeah.
It's like the fourth song on here that's really slow. Yeah.
Worst
Yeah.
song?
The four, no, like all together. Like, sorry, the fourth
Oh,
song.
is it okay? Yeah. Yeah, it's the fourth one that kind of had the same kind of pacing, kind of slow. Definitely just more slow, laid back reggae kind of vibes, which in comparison to the more fast paced, boombastic, lots of instrumentation, there's an a very easily separation between those.
Boombastic. That's a word.
Yes. I gotta stop saying boombastic.
Oh, I like it. It's
I
good.
gotta stop saying it because, oh man, the singing rat.
Singing what?
The
Oh
singing
my
rat
god! Oh
from
my
back
god!
at the barnyard.
That's it's it's haunting.
Like, I mean, Mr. Boombastic, Mr. Fantastic.
Oh my god, you're
Anyways,
throwing it back right now, dude.
before I commit homicide, let's move on. Let's move on to the next song, which kind of touched on previously. Stupid
Stupid
marriage.
marriage.
Yeah,
Wow.
I thought it was pretty funny. It was
Yeah,
interesting.
I like the moaning.
It is a better contrast to the song before, Blank Expression, which now that I look at it is a pretty fitting title, because when I was listening to the song, just kind of had a blank expression the entire time. um, but anyways, yeah, Stupid Marriage. I think, yeah, it had some sort of message about marriage and
and I
how
don't know.
much it sucks to some people.
Yeah, I don't think we paid attention to the lyrics except the moaning part, but
Except the moaning, yes, which you had to pay attention to. They were just like right in your fucking face.
yeah, I was just listening. I was like, what the? It's like I had to stop the music real quick just to make sure nothing is going on in my house. I was like, what the hell is? Then I realized I'm home alone. And I was like, okay, so if something was happening,
Yeah,
it's weird as
yeah.
hell. But it's just an odd thing just to put in like I'm the middle of the song, and it just felt. I don't know. I felt like it wasn't awkward. I just felt this didn't need to be in here, but
I think it. I don't know. I think it was interesting. It was
yeah.
different for sure, but not to be punny or anything, but the climax of this song.
Ah.
Uh-huh.
All right, everyone.
Oh,
That's the end of the
God.
podcast. I'll talk to you
Okay.
later. No, but the climax of the song was definitely the best. All the instruments kind of came together, and it was this really epic kind of outro that I thought was awesome. Again,
Yeah, it
tying
was
back to those
orgasmic.
just
Yeah.
badass instruments, badass instrumentation on this album. So I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about that track, but
Think I'm done with that. Yeah.
I think there's not enough moaning actually. I don't.
not enough moaning.
Yeah. If they do another remaster, just do the entire thing. Don't even.
Yeah, just the entire album, just have that same woman moaning.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
track, perfect. All
Mhm.
right, and so the next track after that, Too Much Too Young, or Too Much Too Yours. Too Much Too Young. I am an actual idiot.
What the hell?
I need to have this notebook taken away from me, this mic taken away from me. But Too Much Too Young, right?
Yeah, the song. I did not realize the song was so long.
Yeah, over 6 minutes.
I thought the song was over around like 2 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, okay. So what's the next song?" I was like, "Oh, the song's still going." Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
It kind of just went on a little bit too much for me. But
You know what, man? This is the type of music that you're just doing stuff with. Like, you know what I mean? You're not really listening to it, but it's like going on. Like you're working in the background.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't
Like
know if I could
you wouldn't
if I have a setting for this particular type of music.
well, like think about it like this, right? Like in the 70s, right? They're probably, they're
doing
probably
something.
working, doing something. They're probably at work, gardening or something like that. And they just throw on a little bit of
Yeah, with
ska.
I think their Walkmans were invented back then.
No, not that early.
No.
Okay. I don't know. I don't even know what they could use.
Just speakers, radio. I don't know. I don't know if like this album this band in general is particularly popular, like anywhere outside of the UK.
I don't think ska is very popular at all. So
Yeah, that's fair. It's still not popular today because it sucks.
well,
But
well,
Tell us how you really feel.
yeah, let me make the rest of this podcast a rant on how much I just despise that genre of music. I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, Too Much Too Young. Meh. Poorly mixed once again. The guitar was like virtually missing from the song. You could barely hear it in the background. So whatever. Pretty forgettable track, I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna put that in the not a favorite, not
The
a
Garbo
fan.
pile.
The Garbo pile. Yeah.
I think the next song is "Little Bitch," right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Interesting song title.
Yep.
I thought I heard this song before because
Yeah, you little bitch.
yeah. No, I thought I heard the song before, but this song got remixed by another band, Big D and the Kids on the Table, or Kids, whatever. I heard that one a lot. I was high hopes for the original, but then when I listened to it, I just didn't like it at all. Or maybe because I like the version I heard a lot more than this version because I felt like this version was so slow.
I
So,
mean,
wait, hold on. You're saying this version is slow, the
Yes.
remastered version?
No, sorry.
no, the original song.
This is the
Oh,
original song,
okay.
but the one I heard was a lot like faster pace compared to this.
Which,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
what she's saying was redone by another group,
Yeah.
and that's the one he. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
I got you.
again, I thought it was okay. I definitely much appreciate the more fast-paced songs, which I thought this one was a little bit more fast-paced than a few of the other tracks on here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one.
I'm not really sure what they were talking about on this album or why it was titled "Little Bitch" per se. Because again, I'm not a huge guy to listen to the lyrics, at least at first glance. Something I'll have to revisit later. But yeah, it was okay. Whatever. You
I
know,
remember-
pretty non-offensive track.
Not offensive, yes, not offensive.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, of course. In terms of like non-offensive to your ears, just the way it sounded is pretty mild.
Oh yeah, no. It's just
Yeah, and speaking of mild, the last track here,
very mild. Yes.
You're Wondering Now, one of the more underwhelming tracks again. Like it's that same rock steady beat, the same guitar,
It's
and
just like
it almost sounded exactly like the first track in terms of the vocal deliveries and the harmonies. Like you have that same ba-da-bup. Like that was a very common thing you were hearing.
it's yeah, I do agree. It's very the song. I don't know how to explain because I didn't like this song either. It was just very just monotone, low voice the entire time. It was just very meh. It's not memorable. I accidentally listened to the song second instead of last, and so I kind
Let's
of
see.
so I don't know why it's shuffle on. So I went listen to Message to Rudy and then immediately to the last song. I don't know. I thought that was odd. I was like,
What
this is
happens when your shit's on shuffle, Brian? It's what happens
yeah.
when you are unprepared.
Unprepared
Oh,
once
my bad.
again.
My bad.
Unprepared Andy.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was the specials. All in all, I mean, it was enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's one of those things where I can sit down, actively listen to, and kind of just go away to another place. Really, just a chill thing to have in the background if you're on the beach or if you're.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. It's like just kind of background music.
Yeah, it really is. Sorry to any huge specials fans. Maybe you can
Yeah.
introduce us into some more of their bangers.
Yes. Whatever.
Although I have heard another song by them, Ghost Town, which is like very different sounding and just a lot better. But yeah, if there's any ska fans listening, please send us some suggestions your way. We definitely,
Or stop listening because we're gonna keep making fun of it throughout this entire podcast.
or just stop
Yeah.
listening because we hate ska.
Well, they hate ska. I like it.
It's official. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly podcast hates
Oh,
ska. We hate
yeah.
it. It's garbage.
Yes, we are going on Twitter right now saying ska is the worst alongside K-pop on Twitter.
You think ska has an official Twitter? You know, like how K-pop Twitter's a thing. You think?
I don't think
there's a
it's
ska
not that
Twitter?
pretentious, probably. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Something about ska
maybe it
is just
is. I don't know.
pretentious to me. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, what do you
maybe
listen
it
to?
is.
Oh, I listen to ska. Like
Ska.
ska. It's just like I don't know. It's kind of highbrow, I guess. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah, very. Yeah.
I can't find anything about ska on Twitter.
I doubt you will, man. I doubt you
No.
will.
I doubt you.
Gotta be
Oh,
honest.
dude.
I gotta be honest.
I found someone. I like ska Twitter a lot, and there's like 3 people that comment on it. Oh, that was 5 days ago.
5 days ago. Wow, I was expecting at least 5 years. The last time someone actually listened to ska.
Uh,
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have two pretty damn good projects. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, fantastic. The specials, it's good. It was not offensive. It was
It was
pretty
all
interesting to listen to. It was all right. Yeah,
It's all
it was
right.
all right. I didn't hate it. Didn't love it.
What would you give
Yeah.
it out of 10? I don't know if you can give an album out of 10.
Yeah, you
If
can
I had to
definitely give
give
an
it,
album out of 10. Go for it.
I would say a 6. I would say a 6, and it would be a 7 for me.
It's a
if
D.
Well, yeah, that's how most ratings are going to be.
it would definitely be a 6 if it was mixed a little bit better. Then I would argue for a 7, maybe, right? But I think the mixing just didn't injustice to this
Yeah.
album.
I'd have to agree with you there.
I'm giving it a 5 because
Oh, wow.
yeah. You not think I was going to give it
gives it even
Scott?
less.
You not think I would give it the worst
You're
one?
betraying your own kind, Brian. I hope you know
Yeah,
that.
Scott Twitter is coming after me now.
Ryan, you're
so-
giving it an F, dude.
Yes, because it's their first album. It's pretty good in some parts, but it's just like meh. I don't really like meh music. I like something that just like it's good.
You know what?
I like more
agree.
good. All right, Dylan, what you
Well,
give it?
Yeah, what would you
I'd give it
Dylan?
I'd give it a 6, probably. Yeah, I'd give it a 6.
Yeah, like
I don't
it's
hate the music, but I don't love it either. It's just kind of like there.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. So I guess that's it.
that's pretty much it. We're gonna keep this first episode pretty damn short.
Yeah. These movies.
yeah.
I don't know what to
Yeah.
say. The movie was good. The album was just okay. It's all right. But our next week's episode,
our next week. So
our
these
next
were the
episode.
good. These were the good. We had a great movie, right? That was very successful, very well received, and we have a generally well received, critically kind of acclaimed album, right?
Yes.
Well, next episode's going to be the bad. Now, the bad is not necessarily the worst of the worst, but really big name stuff, big name artists, big name projects, big name movies that are just absolutely fucking terrible. And I think we picked out 2 excellent ones.
Oh god.
So feel free to watch these and listen to these before the next episode, so we can kind of all discuss about it.
Yeah.
But the movie we are going to be looking at next is
I'll say that.
one I haven't seen in its entirety, and I never planned on doing it until we discussed about it earlier. And this movie is The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, starring Steve Carell, Jim Carrey, and Steve Buscemi, who are all like magicians essentially.
Jim Carrey's in this? I didn't even
Jim
know
Carrey.
Just
Jim
Steve. Oh my god.
Yeah, Jim Carrey pretty much plays this Chris Angel type of character, I think.
Oh,
Which
it's gonna be fun.
I've watched the trailer. I've watched probably the first 25 minutes of the movie, and it looks absolutely atrocious. But it bombed at the box office too.
It really like it
bombed bad.
It's like a $30 million budget and it made $27 million. It's really bad.
So that'll definitely be an exciting one. I cannot wait to shit myself watching that. And then the next album, even better. Better. If you thought it couldn't get worse than the movie we're reviewing, well,
oh god.
It's a Christmas inspired album, but fuck it.
Yeah, Christmas.
It's way past
April.
Christmas. It's too far away. It's April. All the snow's going away, but fuck it. We are going to be looking at Justin Bieber's Mistletoe.
Under the Mistletoe.
Under the Mistletoe. Is it Under the Mistletoe or is it just Mistletoe?
I thought it was Under the Mistletoe.
Regardless, it's a piece of dog shit I've heard. It's old Justin Bieber or young Justin Bieber. Yeah, it's Under the Mistletoe, so that's my bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a host.
Wow, this album looks bad. I've heard the one song, Mistletoe. Specifically, I've heard that song. I've heard parodies on parodies about that song, but I'm excited. I really am.
I'm nervous. It's just, oh god. I'm excited to listen to it because I never really heard a really bad album because I don't really listen to much new music often. But I'm excited to listen to this piece of shit.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those albums where you go into it knowing it's going to be bad, but like at the same time you're hoping there's some redeeming quality about it. But a
Yeah.
Christmas like inspired Justin Bieber album, that's going to be damn hard to find good qualities about it. So maybe, hey, you never know. Maybe my mind changed, and then I'll be listening to Under the Mistletoe every waking moment of my life. But so yeah, there we go. First episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly podcast with your hosts Chris and
Brienne.
the beautiful Bryan, and then special
Oh
guest
my
Dylan,
God.
who we really appreciate
Yes,
you having
sir.
on, buddy.
Yeah.
Of course.
Definitely be seeing a lot more of Dylan
Yes, definitely.
for sure. But hopefully you enjoyed that kind of shitty, scuffed review of The Ballad of Buster Scruggs on Netflix, by the way. It came out in 2018, I believe, so go check it out.
Yeah.
And then The
Great movie.
Specials, their self-titled album, released in 1979. I believe I misspoke on that earlier. But available on pretty much any streaming platform, YouTube as well. So feel free to check it out. Let us know how you guys think about it. If you want to reach out to us, we're going to have a Instagram, which will be pretty much the initials of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And then we'll have a Patreon being set up soon, as well as a website. Patreon's going to be about probably $1 a month.
Yeah.
So really cheap, just $1 a month, right? And you're going to be getting access to polls, more reviews, written reviews, snippets from upcoming podcasts, things like that. So
Or if you want to request a certain song or movie for us to go over and good, bad, and ugly, yeah, we'd take everything almost.
We will take everything just like Bryan takes everything in the ass.
Yes.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. Really do appreciate it. First episode. And we'll see you next time in the next one.
All right. See ya later, alligator.
Go fuck yourself, Bryan.
Oh.
See ya.
Okay.